Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. So if you're new to my channel, this is your first time coming across this channel, you're welcome to Amasolon Stitches. On this channel, I upload sewing tutorials ranging from corset to any kind of sewing tutorial at all. As a matter of fact, both sewing and drafting. And the last time I uploaded a Victorian overbust structured corset, I promised I was going to upload the sewing tutorial, and today you have it. This is the sewing tutorial. If you're here and you're yet to subscribe to the channel, please do well to subscribe to the channel. This is the only way you can, one of the ways you can actually appreciate the work I am doing. Thank you so much. Okay, so I went ahead and I just cut it out on the fabric. I'm using the same color of lining. I'm using the fabric as the lining as well. Okay, but you can use any kind of any other lining you want to use, but in this case I use the same fabric, the main fabric, as the lining. And what I'm holding in my hand is a wadding. I use it for the breast pad. Okay, so I just padded this. Is a soft wadding, but if you have it's advisable to use, what is it called again? I'm trying to remember the name. Yeah, to use collar gum, that the very hard collar gum. Use it on the front of the lining because you're going to bust cage the lining, so you can use that on the front of the lining. You can use your collar gum on the front, that is the front pattern, not the back, because there's no bust caging at the back. So you can, instead of using wadding, what you saw earlier, you can just go ahead and use your collar gum. But in this case, I used wadding and it still came out fine. All right, but for more structure, collar gum is better. So you just pad the whole front, and the padding won't get to, it's just from the upper part to the under bust like you saw previously. And here I'm just trying to cut an interfacing for both the lining and the main fabric. Okay, this is a collar gum. You can use a cloth stay. Okay, you can use that very cloth stay, not a very soft one, so that you can give it some kind of firmness. You need, your free fabric needs some kind of firmness. So this is me. I'm just cutting this interfacing. I'm going to cut it for both the lining and also the main fabric. Remember I told you that I'm using this fabric for both lining and the main material. Okay, so in case you see that everything I'm cutting is the same color, that's because I'm using it for both lining and the main fabric. So I'm just trying to cut it, before I'll go to my ironing table, and then I'll just iron it. I'll iron it for the lining and the main fabric. So let me keep doing that. Okay, so I'm done cutting the interfacing. These are all my panels, and this is the wording I told you that I cut earlier for the center front. Yeah, for the front panel. Alright, so I'm done ironing it, the interfacing on the fabric. Let me just show you. I'm trying to flip everything open so that you see how I ironed it. I ironed it and then I trimmed off all the excesses on the edges of the fabric and on the edges of the lining. So make sure you iron it very firmly. This is my wording. I ironed it like you're seeing here, because this is a wording, so I ironed it from the upper part to the underbust. But if you're using a collar gum, you come down. Yeah, you come down by 1 inch or 1.5 inch from the upper part, like I'm demonstrating. Just start from that point to your underbust. But because this is a soft wording, so I ironed it all through. It won't do anything. It won't obstruct me from turning the cloth with lining when I want to turn it. So these are all my pattern set. I'll just go to my machine now and begin to join it. This is the center front. I called the center front wasn't cut on fold. All right, I split it into two because the boning will go in front of it, so I had to split it into two. That is why you're seeing that the center front is 2 pieces. Okay, so see where my wording stopped at the underbust. That is where yours should also stop. So if you're using a collar gum, your collar gum should stop at the underbust. You should come down at least 1 inch from the upper part, then stop at your underbust, just as you can see what I did here. So I'm just trying to join the center front like so. And please make sure you place notches on your pattern set so that when you get to the ironing, when you get to the sewing machine, it just runs easily. You won't get confused. You won't start going back to your pattern paper to confirm whether it is A or B or 1 or 2. So I'm done joining it. I use allowance of 0.75, which I will end up trimming. I actually forgot that this Victorian corset, the boning was on top the main fabric. The boning wasn't encased inside. That was why I put that much allowance. But I'm going to trim it off at the end of the day. So I'm still joining the fabrics. Okay, I'm done joining the center front, the 1 and the 2. I'm joining number 3 now because I labeled it 1, 2, 3, 4. My pattern set is 4 pieces. If you have watched the drafting tutorial, you will understand what I'm doing. And if you have not watched the drafting tutorial, please, I urge you to go back to the drafting tutorial and watch it. It is very, very detailed. Even a beginner can understand it. All right, so go back to the drafting tutorial and watch it so that you understand what I'm doing right now. I'm just basically joining it together. All right, so this is number 3. I've joined number 3. I'm also trying to join the other side. It is left and right. So I went ahead, I marked it with my marker so that once I go into my machine, I won't waste any time. And also it is for accuracy, so that the inches of allowance you left on your fabric is exactly what you will sew. But if you don't mark it, you might leave 0.75 and end up sewing half an inch or more than 0.75. So it is better you mark. All right, all these allowances, I'll trim them off, and then I am just going ahead to join this one. I'll keep joining it until I finish joining the center front. Mind you, this is the lining because we're going to cage the lining. That is why we put interfacing on it. The caging will go on the lining, don't forget, because it is an invisible boning we are doing. So this is what I'm sewing right now, is the lining. When I finish sewing this lining, I'll go ahead and join the other one, that is the main fabric. Okay, so I'll just keep joining them until I exhaust everything. So this is the back panel. This is the back. Notice that I ironed collar gum on the back. This is where my eyelets will be. Okay, I've already sewed it. This is where my eyelets. So you need to iron a collar gum so that when you start snatching your corset, it will be firm. This collar gum will help in holding it. So when you imagine you fold it like this now, okay, you fold it like this. This is where your eyelets will be. See how firm it is. So you need to iron that on it. Okay. So this is it. This is the center back. This is what it looks like with the collar gum on it. So I left 0.75 allowance as well. I'll sew on it. So I'll just go ahead. I'll sew it. That is what I'm doing right now. I'm already sewing the allowance I left for the center back. Okay, yeah, I finished sewing the center back. I'm joining it now. I'm joining the side. Yeah, side to side. Center back. I'm joining it. The side of the center back to the side of the front. I hope you get what I'm trying to explain. Just watch the video, you'll see. I'm still working on the lining right now. Okay, I'm done joining everything. You see how I sewed the side and I trimmed it off. All those allowances I put inside, I trimmed them off because I won't be needing them. If I was working with a boning that I will have to insert, that is a visible boning, I will need those allowances. But because the boning on this will be encased on the fabric on top the lining, on top the main fabric, I don't need all those allowances any longer. So I trim them off. So this is me trying to iron them with a steam iron. You see my ham, my bust ham or my bust ball is under the bust, and I'm trying to kind of massage it. So just carefully massage that bust area so that the cup will come out very well. The shape will come out very well. Okay, so just do it carefully. Okay, I'm done with that ironing. All right, so I don't want this video to be too long. So I'm done with that. I'm trying to do the bust caging. What I'm doing now is just marking it. As you can see, I've already sewed 3 bonings already on it. So just follow those your boning channel, those your channel line, those straight line. Just follow it and sew your boning. Okay, so I'm also trying to mark this vertical line, or is this the horizontal line? Sure, I have marked the straight lines, which I sewed 3 bonings. I will still add more bonings. I'm marking this other line that is not straight. Okay, so I'm just marking it. You can measure it and mark, all right, but your caging will stop at your under bust, 1 inch away from your upper front, yeah, the center front, to your under bust. Okay, because you need that allowance, either 1 inch or 0.75 for your turning, because you're going to turn the lining and the main fabric. So don't let your caging get to your neckline so that you'll be able to turn it. So I'm going to go ahead and just sew everything. All right, I'm just trying to correct to make sure the lines are well placed. All right, I'm trying to see that the lines are well placed. Okay, so I'm done doing that now. So you notice that I also use masking tape. Is this sellotape? To sellotape it. Okay, so now you notice that this bust caging, some part of your bust, some part of this dress, this corset is not straight, and this boning channel, for you to get that very good result, you need to carry your plier, just as I'm doing, locate those small wire like plastic inside that boning, drag either 1 or 2. When you drag it the way I'm dragging it now, you notice that the boning will be curving, so it will give you that curve you need to place on any other curve. So any curved part on this your bust side, make sure you drag those rubber so that you have that curved effect. Okay, see how I've gotten that curved effect for this one. Now I'll go ahead and sew it on this bust part. So any other place that is curved, that is how I will keep pulling the Regline boning. I'll keep pulling it until I get the desired curve that I want. Okay, it's very important you do it like that so that your boning will be balanced, and make sure you always mask your boning so that it won't be choking the person. Although we are still going to flesh the boning, but it's advisable to mask it, number 1, so that it won't choke the person that is wearing it, and also it won't tear the clothes, because there's every possibility that it can just perforate the cloth and it will tear it. But with that mask on it, it will help it, plus the fleshing that we're going to do in the later part of this video. So this is me I'm just going ahead to sew the straight lines first. I've already sewed 3 before off cam. So now I'm just using this one as an example to show you. I'll sew it on both edges. Okay, I'll sew it. I believe that this course is actually for advanced students, so I believe you guys understand what I'm saying by watching the video. It's actually self-explanatory. So when I'm finished sewing this particular boning, I will sew all other bonings. All right, I will sew every other boning. Then I will now sew the horizontal and the vertical lines. Okay, then I'll show you the next thing we're going to do. All right. So when you're finished sewing it, I've not really started giving it a good press, because the center front, it won't be flat this way. You have to push it in. The reason why I just want to iron the bust part first is because I want to flesh it. Okay, I don't want to push it up so that it won't be too curvy. By the time I'm sewing it on my machine side might not be able to contain it. I will find it difficult trying to sew it. So when you're sewing it, you push out the center front, this center front that is laying flat, push it out very well. It needs to be very, very curvy. Okay, it needs to be very, very curvy. The bust area, massage it very well. You can even bend the boning towards the left, you bend it towards the right. Just take your time. When you're buscaging, you take your time to iron it. And you know, this boning is a regular boning. When you steam your iron very well, it weakens it. So anywhere you bend the boning to, it will follow you. Okay, so use a very hot iron. And if your iron is not, if it doesn't have this steam that you're seeing on my own iron, you can place another fabric on it. Place another fabric on, so that the iron will be very, very hot. Because if you don't place a fabric on it, it will actually melt your boning. So place another fabric on top, then you now iron it very well. It will weaken the boning, and the boning will, be able to bend to any direction you want it. So make sure you curve it out very well. I'll actually give it a good press when I'm done fleshing it. When I'm done putting the fleshing on this bust caging, I will now come back and then I'll iron it very well. I'll push out the center front very well. Everything will be looking caged up. Right now, it hasn't started giving the caging effects yet. Okay, so this down part, all right, this under bust part, you iron it very well too, so that it will stand. It should be standing. This, from your upper part to the under bust, should be standing by the time you are done. Okay, so I'm done with the ironing. I just went ahead and cut a fiber. This is a fiber. It's called the fiber. So to do this now, I just want to put a hemming gum. This hemming gum will help a lot. By the time I start ironing it, it will help at least to humble the fiber, to make the fiber stay on the cloth, on the caging. If you don't put this hemming gum, the fiber will just, be standing up and showing itself when you're ironing it. But this hemming gum will help it to humble. So I'll just go ahead. I will sew it as I'm demonstrating. I'm sewing the upper part, the neckline. I will sew the under bust. I will sew the bust just to hold the fiber to my fabric. We need to cage it so that this boning will not injure the person that is wearing the dress. So I will just go ahead. I will just hold it down. So the fiber, the upper part, as you can see me doing, and then the side and the under bust. Then I will show you the next thing to do. Okay, so I'm done fibering it. I'm just trying to trim off some excesses, okay? So the next thing we want to do now is to encase our Regilene boning. And to encase our Regilene boning, what we need now is about 2 inches wide of this strip. The length should be the length of wherever you're fixing the boning. So I just placed my boning, as you can see. I placed it like so. I left 1.5 inch at the upper part. You can see an allowance. You can even leave up to 1 inch at the upper part. Also at the down part, make sure you leave another 1/2 inch or 0.75 inches because you're going to need it. You don't want to sew on your boning, so you need that extra fabric allowance at the upper part and at the down part. So when you're turning your fabric, the neckline or the hemline, the boning will not be obstructing. You just sew on top the fabric. You understand why you need that allowance now, right? So I'm just going ahead to sew on the tip, as you can see, on the right side of the fabric, after which I pulled it out and then the boning just curved. I just followed the curve line to wrap it. I'm basically just wrapping the boning. It's a very simple process. By the time you do it, you figure it out. I just wrapped it. Just watch what I did. And I stopped here, making sure the boning is not showing, okay? So I'm trying to just make it sit very well before I start sewing. So I've wrapped it now. I'm just going ahead to sew again on the tip of my boning. Just 0.25. 0.25. I'm just taking my time to, as I'm sewing, I'm wrapping. As I'm sewing, I'm wrapping. It's something you need to actually take your time to do. You don't need to rush it, okay? So I'll just keep sewing this. I'll keep doing it until I get to the end of the tunnel. So I'm not encasing it. See what I'm doing? That excess fabric that I have there, I'm just using my scissors to trim it off, okay? We don't need that excess any longer. Just trim it as close as possible because you don't want that fraying edge to be showing. Just try as much as you can to trim it as close as possible, okay? So I'm just going ahead to just take my time and just trim it. Then after which I got my matches. Guys, you need to use a lighter. I use lighter for the rest of the encasing. As at the time of this particular recording, I didn't see the lighter, but later I found it and then I use it for the other. Because if you use a matchstick, you might end up using one pack of matchstick. But with a lighter, you just burn that edges that was fraying. Make sure it is smooth, okay guys? Just make sure it is smooth so that it's come out beautiful. After burning it, the edges, then I'll go ahead and take the next action. So the next thing to do, your guess is as good as mine. It's very, very simple. I'll just go ahead, I'll sew it wherever I want to put it. Remember, this is the main fabric. The boning was done on top the main fabric. Okay, while the caging was done on the lining. So I'm just sewing on the main fabric. This place that has the structure, that armhole part that has that structure, you need a boning channel needs to go up there so that it will sustain, suspend that place. If not, if a boning channel doesn't go up there, that your structure will be falling. So you need something that will make it stand. When you wear that clothes, that place will be standing. You need a boning channel up there. Okay, so I'll just go ahead now. I'll just sew it. I'm top stitching it. I'm going to top stitch this part, and then I'll turn it the other way and also go ahead and top stitch. I'm trying to make sure, okay, I think I'm trying to cut off something there. All right, so I'll just go ahead and I'll keep sewing. All right. Okay, so I'm done sewing it. I just wanted to show you this one. I'll go ahead and sew the rest of the boning channels for the rest of the clothes. So this is how fine it's looking. Very neat and very beautiful. So let me just go ahead and sew other ones, then we'll continue with the tutorial. All right. Okay, so this is it. I'm done with all of the boning and casing, and then I'm done fixing it on the top. This is what it looks like. So the next thing to do now is pretty much simple. I'll just go ahead and grab the I'll go ahead and grab the lining where I did my bust caging. I'll join the neck. I'll just sew the neck of the lining to the main fabric. You see my lining and my main fabric. I'm trying to demonstrate to you. So I'm done sewing down that neck. Please, when you're sewing the neck, make sure you use a hemming gum. So by the time you turn it and iron it, it will not be standing up. The hemming gum will hold it in place, all right? So I'm just sewing. This is the center back. I'm attaching it to the center back of the lining. I'm trying to sew everything together. This is like an inseam finishing. Okay, this is the center back where you have your grommet. I'm trying to sew it with 0.75 inches. That was the allowance I left there. So I sewed it very close to my collar gum. So I'll just go ahead and trim that excess. I don't need it. I don't need it at all. So I'll just go ahead, I'll trim it. This is the center back. All right, so I'll also go ahead and sew the other side. You know, it's two sides. So I'm also going ahead now to sew the other side, as you can see me do. When I'm done sewing it, I'll now turn everything out. The only place I'll be left open is the down part, which is the hemline. I will also, work on it later in the video. So I'll also go ahead and trim any excess so that it do not form any bulge there. Okay, I'll go ahead and trim off the excess so that it will not form any bulge there. So I'll turn it inside out. So this is it. I've turned it, and now please give it a good press. The beauty of corsetry is ironing. If you iron it very well, everything will come out very neatly. All right, so now I'm just using a strip of 1.5 to 2 inches wide fabric to turn it out. Like, I'm biasing the down part. I just want to bias it so that it will be neatly finished. That is the only place that is open. Every other place in this corset has been sealed, so that is the only place that is left open. I'm trying to sew it. After sewing this, now I'll show you what it looks like, because I have to go and iron it very, very well. Very important. So guys, this is me trying to iron the corsets. Okay, all right guys, please like this video, share it, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to this channel. One of the ways you can support this channel is not by giving me cash, but by subscribing and by liking this video and sharing it with as many people as possible. Okay, so I'm going to give this a very good press and straighten every rough part. Okay, you can try this style out. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.